Okay, hello everyone. If you can hear me, give me like a clap or a heart or something. Just want to make sure that everyone can hear me here. How's it going, Red?
Great, great, great. Yeah, we can hear you loud and clear, Matt.
Perfect. Well, this is such an exciting time for all of us. I want to take a moment before we kind of get started here just to think that within, in 4 days on Sunday, we're all going to be able to play this game, right? Celestia Ultimate is opening up for early access on Epic Games. Like, how cool is that? There's so many people that have been in this project for so long, a lot longer than I've been a member of the team, and just so cool to finally see that coming to fruition after about 18 months, right? So I'm super stoked on that. I'm super thankful that we've made it here, and very excited to be here for this moment.
Awesome. Well said, Matt. Well said. And you coming on board has really brought a new sense of community here. So it's great to have you here, and I'm sure that everybody here feels the same way.
Yeah, thanks, man. Definitely appreciate that. I mean, it's good to be here. It's so much fun talking to the community in the Telegram, and doing all these Twitter Spaces and all of the Twitter stuff that's going on today. We're going to do things slightly differently. We obviously have all of the questions and all of the answers that we have, but if there are questions about anything that we're asking about, anything that we're talking about as we're going through at this point, please feel free to raise your hand and come up on stage and ask further clarifying questions, or talk about what you're excited about. We're very much going to be opening up the floor for that, and as well as after the questions are done, opening up for speculation about what's coming, excitement about what's coming, in addition to live questions for as much as I can answer. So feel free to ask, and we'll kind of get going from there. But for now, we're going to get moving. Let's go. So Johnny, I believe this is up to you, and we
Okay.
will get moving here.
So yeah, first question we have here is there any real difference between having a champion in slot one, slot two, or slot three? Or is this just the way OpenSea organizes the data?
Yeah, so right now this is actually no significant impact depending on what slot it's going to be in. It's simply for organizational purposes. So there's no difference between slot one, slot two, slot three. It's just how it's being organized in the metadata. So no issues there, no difference.
Great, very clear. And has the team implemented measures to prevent bot-controlled players from farming or expelling resources, eggs, and so on?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, definitely implement measures to do all of that. The team is actually very experienced in building games like this. So they've implemented several anti-bot measures to deter players from using bots to exploit. Right. They've also implemented various anti-cheat systems and design features that make it nearly impossible for peer-to-peer exploits. Not to say it can't happen, but we're definitely taking that in mind and trying to cut that off before it even starts.
And I'm sure the community will play a great role in that too. A lot of people probably good at identifying that sort of thing. Okay, so next question is there a notable difference between owning a land with a stage 2 champion compared to a stage 1 champion?
Yeah, so champions right now, we've had a lot of questions about champions on land and what the drop types are like as far as eggs goes, and what type of champion or what type of egg will be coming from that. Champions of the same species, right, will drop the same type of egg, right? We know that already, that's already been dropped. However, stage 2 champions might have a slightly higher drop rate in return for a higher difficulty level. So you can go, battle a stage 2 champion, and you might get more of a chance to get an egg rather than battling a stage 1 champion. The percentage would be lower.
Okay, great. Next question is about solar land. How does solar land usage work? Is there a limit to the number of players per island? And are the islands instanced or do players share them? And then finally, is it rented on an hourly or daily basis?
Okay, so it's like six questions in that one,
Yeah.
but we're going to try to get to it as much as possible. So players can rent land on solar land on an hourly basis. Let's start there. So hourly basis, you're paying champ to rent that land, so you can battle champions, so you can get experience, so you can hatch eggs. Right, that's already known. But multiple players can actually play on the same island simultaneously, but there is a limit to the number of players allowed on each island at any given time. So there is a limit. There's obviously going to be some balancing as we go into, into EA, seeing what works, seeing what doesn't. And we already do know that islands that are more fully utilized will kind of fade away, and islands that are not will be more available to your general player that's coming into the game. So there's multiple balancing mechanisms that are happening there, but yes, multiple players can play on the same island simultaneously, but there's also a limit for the amount of players on a given island, right? So kind of all those things simultaneously.
Got it. Next is, do all champions have 2 attributes? And second part, can both attributes be used for infusion?
Yeah, so not all champions have 2 attributes, but most of them do. But the majority of champions possess 2 attributes, and that does allow for infusion with either attribute. And like I said, it is worth noting that some champions may only have 1 attribute, but both those attributes do allow for infusion.
Great, very clear. Next, do the 3 individual champions on each land change over time, or do they remain the same? And then follow-up question, can players choose to change them by rolling for a new set of champions, as an example?
Yeah. Okay. So once again, so each island, as we know at the moment, we just saw the metadata update that saw the 3 different species of champions that players can obtain eggs from, right? So you have 3 different types of champions, 3 different species that are on this land. And at the moment, the same species of champion will continuously respawn, which allows players to farm eggs or experience, right, on the land. During early access, the beginning of early access, this is not going to be available to potentially, roll for new champions or change champions or any of that sort of thing. Team's going to be sitting, they're going to be looking at the balance, seeing what works. If there needs to be an update, maybe there will be an update. The ability to introduce new champions to lands might be introduced in a future update. It really depends on balance. It really depends on how people are utilizing land, depends on what how the game ends up playing out once everyone's live in there, that sort of thing. So it is possible, but at the moment, there is nothing hard about changing champions on Solar Land.
Got it. So Matt, we're running through these questions pretty quickly. Perhaps we open up the floor for a moment. If there's any questions on what we've talked about so far, I know there's a lot of different information going on here. So
Yeah, absolutely. So if anyone has any questions, happy to bring some people up right now, kind of talk about, the excitement about the game, the fact that we're going to be getting in on this Sunday, which is really cool through Epic Games, and in addition to any of clarifications on any of the questions that we have so far. So feel free to raise your hand if we have here. Okay, we have Freelancer coming up at the moment. So Freelancer, once you connect, you are on. Here you go. We can. Welcome.
Excellent. I've never been so excited for a launch of anything since I'm pretty sure Pokemon Silver and Gold were announced back in the day. So just riding this hype train, man. It's going to be incredible. I have a question. You may not be able to answer it because I guess it's this isn't looking to cheese, but I'm going to be running like a sort of a private guild within the game. And one of the questions I have is regarding rent prices for land. Is there going to be a system in place where you can maybe zero that out, or you can make it so that certain people, or I guess I don't know if you're going to be able to have some people can access it for free, some people can't, but is there going to be a way to have people come to your island for free without, say, having to like refund the champ cost to them?
At the moment, I do not believe there's a mechanism for that. I believe it's you set the price, and then everyone that's coming to the land has to utilize that price. And you're correct. I mean, it'd be interesting because this is a fun mechanism that you're talking about, right? You end up joining this guild. The guild gets benefits, for example, being able to utilize the land. Is that kind of what you're talking about?
Yeah, pretty much. We've got a private Discord of gamers, and some of them are quite young, and they love these kinds of games. And it's just an opportunity to kind of get them started without them having to necessarily put a lot of money in. So
Yeah, fair enough. I mean, you could do something as small as, hey, you can pay 1 champ and send them a champ, right? That sort of thing. That would, at the current prices, would cost you 2 cents, right? So that's one way
yeah, I
to
think
kind
they've
of
got
get
pocket
around
money
that.
for that.
I mean, that's gas costs right now on Polygon. But right now, yeah, there is no mechanism that I'm aware of that allows us to kind of split that price. at the moment. But obviously the team is aware that some people have requested that. So maybe in the future, but not right now.
Well, you could even find out their wallets, airdrop it to them, the 25 champ or whatever, and then have them come in that way. There's a lot of opportunities there.
Yeah,
that's cool. I did have a part two, but again, you may not be able to answer it. But this idea of guilds and kind of expanding on that, have we got any more information on this idea of, like sort of player-owned gyms or gym leaders, or maybe if you own a land, you can have people battle you on that land? Is it just something that's on the drawing board? That would be enough for me.
Yeah, so at the moment, we're specifically holding back on answering any questions about that. There's some cool things coming, so I'm just going to let that one lie for a second.
Okay.
That's a good answer. Right, I'm done. Cheers, guys.
Yeah.
Cheers. Okay, do we have any questions at the moment, or we can keep going? I actually do have something I can talk about before we keep going with the questions. There were a few questions about the game currently not showing up in the Australian market, and I was able to ping Alex about this. For those of you that are new, Alex is the CEO and kind of lead on this project, NFT Champions and Celestia. And so basically what has ended up happening with Australia is the game actually needs to pass through the Australian Classification Board's review process before it's being made available. He feels really confident they're going to get the green light, but there is a process that's happening from a Australian governmental level, or regulatory level is what I meant, regulatory level, for that to be able to be available in Australia at the moment. So that's just something that's happening at the moment. That's something that we are pressing at the moment, but we do have to wait for that regulatory body to come back to us and say, yeah, that's cool. So I know there are a few questions about that, but that's where we're at in that one.
Okay, good update there. So I will continue if that's it with the questions. Looks like we're good.
Yeah, let's keep going.
Great.
Let's make it happen.
So is experience limited throughout the game, or is land required for additional level training?
Yeah, so experience can be obtained in a bunch of different areas of the game. It's not limited to land. I mean, as we saw in a lot of the streamers when they were playing, you're able to be in the lava dungeon, right? And be able to get experience there. The same thing is going to be happening in other places where champions are spawning. As you're moving through the quest lines, you're moving through the game, you will be able to gain experience. The thing is, you're not going to be able to hatch any of the eggs, that you're going to be potentially getting from some of these quest lines until you use land. So yes, you can level up your champions, but you have to use land to actually, kind of utilize what you're getting from those champions from an egg perspective.
Mm-hmm. Okay, next question. Can players get banned from the game? And if they do, will they lose access to their wallet, which has all their champions and other assets?
Yeah, so I mean, of course, in the cases of malicious activity, right, where someone is obviously exploiting the game, they're not playing nice, players can face bans or temporary loss of access to their accounts, right? This is the same as every other game out there. If you're going out and you're doing things that are abusing other players, that you're going against the terms of service at Epic or the game itself, yes, of course, they might face bans. However, there is an appeals process. There is a support ticket process that does allow us to review that. But the second part of that question is that all in-game wallets are 100% self-custody. So that means even if you are faced with a ban, even if something happens where you lose access to the game, you still have custody over your NFTs, over any champ tokens that you have in there, any of the contents in the wallet. We as NFT champions, as Celestia Ultimate, do not control that. That is controlled by you, and that is one of the best things about NFT gaming, right? Because you have control of those assets. And for example, if you say, hey, I want to move on, great, you can sell your assets and you can move on, and you actually have a financial incentive there to do so. Whereas some other places you can't do that, right? Some other games.
Right. Next question is on rent. Is it possible to rent out or lease our champions to other players?
Yeah, so at the moment in game, this is not available. This is not something that was a core aspect of the game that we actually wanted to focus on at the moment. But because everything is self-custody, everyone has full access to their NFTs. Outside of the game, there are various protocols that do allow you to do this, that do allow you to rent your NFTs. I'm not going to speak about a specific one, this one or that one, but this is possible if you want to do that yourself. We are just not enabling that because we don't want to take responsibility necessarily at this point for another level of smart contract code. So not in game, but if you want to do that, by all means, do them. They're NFTs. They're able to be moved around. They're able to be rented via smart contracts. Go ahead.
Very clear there. Next question. Can free-to-play players eventually obtain all 3 starter champions by playing on a single account?
Okay, so starter champions, as we mentioned before, are not NFTs, right? The only way to hatch NFTs is through land, and they're only distributed at the beginning of the game. Players can only obtain 1 starter champion. You can't have all 3. To expand their team, free-to-play players are supposed to be exploring other opportunities within the game, right? So you should be, hey, I got this egg. Maybe I go spend some champ. Maybe I go hatch a new champion to expand my team right now. So you get 1 champion at the beginning. That's the starter champion. You can level it up in game in the various areas. We have 4 areas in early access, right? But if you want to expand your team, you do need to go to land to be able to do that.
Right. And the main difference here is that the fact that starter champions are not NFTs, they can't go on Opensea, they can't be traded with other people, that sort of thing.
Exactly. And so the idea being is that if someone's just coming into the game, right, they don't necessarily have the same sort of financial incentive that someone who has put some champion tokens into the game has.
Right. Okay, next question. What steps has the team taken to focus on marketing the token and growing the ecosystem around the game?
Okay, so one more thing here. So the team is currently building plans to make the game more accessible to non-crypto users. I know specifically of a few things that I am privy to that I can't share right now. That is along these lines. So this is happening behind the scenes. Additionally, efforts are being made to establish connections with non-crypto users and larger crypto pools to support the growth of the GameFi ecosystem. So we're thinking beyond even NFT Champions, right, and Celestia Ultimate. We are thinking, okay, how do we support the larger GameFi ecosystem? How do we make this accessible and easy and take down those barriers to entry for someone who's just coming in from Epic? If someone on Epic's store sees, oh, hey, this looks fun, I'm going to go play it. They should be able to use this without having too much friction in the crypto side of this, the NFT side of this, and that's what the team is thinking right now. So how do we make that accessible? How do we make that easy? How do we make champ flow in and out nice and smoothly, right, without being too many barriers there? So that's kind of what we're thinking at the moment.
Great, makes total sense to me. And the final question here, Matt, how is the team prepared to provide monthly updates after the EA drop to keep the game fresh? And are there plans to expand the core team in order to stay ahead of the implemented roadmap?
Yeah. So once again, a bunch of questions here. So the team is committed to delivering regular updates post EA launch to make sure the community experience continues to be better, and we're continuing to improve right now. As we've talked about a few times, like I am the beginning of that. It's like being here and being a communicator within the ecosystem is the first step towards that. But that's going to continue to improve. We are listening. We are trying to do better. And so we are considering, as a team, adding new processes, adding new developers to streamline content post-launch. So we're really looking forward to, how can we make this easier? How can we put out more content? How can we make sure the community experience is better here, here, and here? So, we'll see how it goes, but we are committed to delivering those regular updates and making sure that everyone's informed. I just wouldn't expect week by week by week by week by week, we still need to focus on building the game.
Great. Yeah. Well, that wraps up our questions for this week.
So, yeah, thank you so much for everyone who's sending questions. We're going to open up the floor at the moment, talking about anything NFT Champions, anything Celestia Ultimate. I do see Trevor here, so let's open it up to Trevor. And if anyone else wants to speak, please feel free to request, and we'll bring you on up. Trevor.
Hey, Super excited. I can't believe the time is finally coming. I ended up raising my hand towards the end when you were talking about like the marketing and exposure and everything. Since they said that they're going to start to cater more towards like Web 2 based people and everything like that, I'm just wondering why the approach is that over Web 3 initially. I would think that Web 3 should be pushed actually a bit more than Web 2 since we don't have fiat on ramp yet. At least I don't believe we do. And I don't know. It's like I don't know how easy and how smooth everything will be to be able to convert and get NFTs. And in the long run, I could definitely see that being a great thing to have. Maybe the fiat on ramp does come as well, but yeah, just when it comes regarding getting people buying the champ token, I would feel that Web 3 marketing would be probably a better route to go, at least in the short term. I'm just looking in the short term with this question.
Yeah, absolutely. So I understand that. I mean, but if you look at the size of the Web 2 ecosystem versus the size of the Web 3 ecosystem, like the Web 3 ecosystem is significantly smaller. There's definitely a lot more room for growth if we're focusing significantly on the Web 2 ecosystem. That doesn't mean Web 3 is going to be pushed away or pushed down. We just need to realize for this to achieve its full potential, we really do need to be looking at the entirety of the gaming market, not just the Web 3 ecosystem.
Right.
Web3 gaming ecosystem is going to be aware of this, right? That is going to
Yeah.
happen. But we need to
So
put processes in place to make
also,
it easy
so
for
since
Web2
if
gamers.
that's the case, if we're gonna be like looking towards the Web 2 to get in first, how is the game gonna be? Like, say if you weren't minting or buying any NFTs off the marketplace or doing anything, is it gonna be hard to progress like via the campaign mode? I know they said they could make it to where you could try to get pretty far, but it'd be very hard to really get the full extent of the game without being purchasing NFTs.
Yeah, so I mean, like we were saying earlier, you can play the game with your starter champion. Like that's fine. You can go through. It's going to be harder, right? You're going to have to grind a little bit more. You're probably not going to be able to compete as well with people who are going through and spending cash on NFTs and that sort of thing. But you can, right? There are
Mhm.
various items in game that allow you to do that, allow you to compete both on a PvP level and on a quest line level.
Mhm.
So
Yeah.
I don't really know where to go with that one from that point.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I have one more final thing is any so did we already kind of make a assumption that we're gonna just do a trailer launch and have that occur like on the day of the launch itself for the game?
So at the moment, the trailer will be launched when the trailer is launched. I do not have an exact date of when that's going to happen. That's being held pretty close to the chest by the core team. So I don't have an answer for you. I mean, it could be as soon as this AMA is over. I do not know. It could be when the game's launched. It could be somewhere in between. I don't personally know. That's not something that I'm privy to at the moment.
Awesome. Gotcha. Thank you. See ya.
Yeah, thanks, Ben. Other Trevor, hello.
Hello, hi. I had a quick question about NFTs. Sorry, your wallet address being will we be able to change our wallet address? Because now I don't think we're allowed to do that at this point, correct?
So within the game, you do have the option to link a wallet address. The current marketplace will be replaced at the moment. So like we're not. If you need help moving a wallet address, once the game is launched, send me a message and we'll try to sort that. But at the moment, the marketplace as it currently stands will be updated. So we need to hold off on that one until the game's launched.
Got it. Thank you. Thank you.
Absolutely. Do we have other questions up here? I know I see a few community members around. Anyone else that would like to jump on up, ask a few questions? I see Bizos up here. And you're up. Connecting. Okay, Bizos, you have the floor. Bizos, I believe you're muted. Okay, we're going to go to Bonesy then. Bonesy, you're up. Bizos, Bonesy, one of you.
Oh,
Okay,
a lot of times when you click. Oh, sorry. I was gonna say a lot of times when you click on someone for a speaker, there's like a 5 minute gap where it like cuts off, so sometimes you can't hear. So that's probably why they didn't react.
No worries. So Bizos, you're up first. Bonesy after that.
Hello, do you hear me?
We do. Hello, hello.
Yeah, hello. One question is like gaming chat was asking about what's gonna happen if during the battle I'm gonna break up like with the game or internet connection gonna be lost or something like that. And the second question, is there any information gonna be released before Sunday about the passive reward boxes, what's in them, or how to open them?
Yeah, so I'll answer your second question first. Passive rewards will be able to be open in early access. So, wait another 4 days, and then you'll be able to open them and see what's happening inside. There's not going to be more information that I'm aware of that we're going to release before early access, but stay patient. Only 4 more days. And what was the first question again?
Like when you are playing the game and you are in the battle, okay, and if the connection gonna broke up with the game, so what's happened? Do I lost automatically, or like what's gonna be?
Yeah, so I haven't had that issue personally when playing. So I don't know specifically how that's handled within the early access build. I'm guessing there's going to be some sort of timeout timer. That's how most games like this end up dealing with that. Hey, if you're disconnected for a long period of time, of course we have to, you end up losing the battle or whatever. But it's not going to be like an automatic, like, hey, you lost connection for a split second, you're going to lose, right? That's not the way forward on that.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, thank you for your question. Bonesy, you're up.
Hey, Matt. One question here. I guess Bizos kind of asked the same question, but are we guaranteed to be able to open our passive rewards on the 28th, on the day of launch?
I believe we've been told that you can open them in early access once early access is available. So the function for that, I do not personally know. I do not have passive rewards because I came in later, right? So I have my own chat bags, but I do not have enough for passive rewards or that sort of thing. So I haven't been able to go in and check it out. So I don't know specifically. It will be available at some point, whether that's immediately or a few days after. I'm not entirely sure.
Okay, I got a buddy here with me with a question too.
Hey, Matt. Wondering about the marketplace. So I've been using the old marketplace to check on my inventory, et cetera, and watch my passive rewards accumulate. I'm just wondering, like, what is the transition plan from the old marketplace to the new marketplace? If you could elaborate a little bit on that, please. Thank you.
Yeah, so basically we're moving a lot of the trading to Opensea. So at the moment, when early access is available, all the trading will also be available on Opensea. So that will be one way that you're able to trade all of the NFTs that are available. There is a plan for transition. The specifics of that plan, I do not know. I'm not on the dev team. So there is a plan. It is going to be switched over. You will be able to trade on Opensea at a minimum. What happens with the old marketplace? Not quite sure yet.
Okay, thank you. And will the old marketplace where we log into the website, will that be obsolete eventually, or?
I mean, eventually, yes, it will be obsolete. It's not going to happen immediately. Okay. I know a lot of people do have rewards that they want to pull out, or they still want to trade there. They're not sure how to deal with Opensea for whatever reason. So it will be eventually obsolete. I mean, there are bugs that need to be that have been known for a while, so that's going to be phased out. What that phase out plan is, how long it's going to take, that's still up in there.
So I guess with what you just said, how are we, if you transition to the Opensea, how are we going to be pulling our passive rewards as they continue to happen for us if we no longer can on the old website?
Yeah, so like I said, there will be a transition plan there, and that will be communicated when I have the specifics of that. I don't have it right now. I don't have. Yeah, I just don't know the specifics of exactly what's going to happen. But I mean, I will definitely let you all know. I know there's a bunch of community members, including yourself, that has questions about this, how this transition is going to happen. So I will personally make sure that that information is communicated, so there's no issues.
Thank you very much.
Of course. Yeah. Thank you for your question. Do we have any other questions here? Any other questions? Yeah, Trevor.
Oops, freelance, or sorry. Actually, yeah, the shoot, what was I gonna say? Yeah, I remember the last AMA, some of the stuffs about answering about some of the marketing going towards token adoption. With that, I'm trying to still think as well. Is there? We don't have a fiat on ramp yet. I'm just wondering how the marketing's going to be, like the difference between Web 2 marketing and Web 3 marketing, or if it's just like throwing the marketing out in a different, ecosystem just entirely, but still having some of the Web 3 like qualities to it to pull them in, or if we're trying to like not really show any of the Web 3 qualities to them. Like, do you happen to know how the marketing is going to move moving forward?
I mean, right now we're kind of pushing to the point of having early access available, right? And then being able to push marketing out. That marketing plan is still under wraps, so I can't share that at the moment. But, there's definitely plans for both of those things. There's some things that are being worked on right now that makes it more accessible. It's not going to be super in your face hardcore like NFT an NFT game, right? But that will be present, that will be there. It's going to say, hey, this is NFT Champions Celestia. You are able to own your champions. You're able to own this currency, right? That allows you to do that. So it's not super in your face, but at the same time, that is going to be present and really going to be there.
Nice. Do you happen to know, have you been able to see anything with the passive reward claiming, if there's like any cool visual animations or anything like that, or is it just like a button you press and it just opens your
Yeah, so as I told Bonesy a little bit earlier, I don't have access to the early access build yet, right? So I personally, because I came in so late, do not have passive rewards. And so I don't have access to the build where we're allowed to open these passive rewards. So there's a few things that are preventing me specifically from doing that. So I don't have an answer for you on that. Wait a few days and we'll find out. Okay, cool. Anyway, Freelancer, I believe you had some questions as well, correct?
Yes, I did. I guess it is a serious question, and I don't think anyone's asked it before. Are we going to be able to name our champs? Because you could still have the guy go like the Spark or whatever, but like you might be able to name it yourself, right?
Sorry, say that again. You cut out for me.
Are we going to be able to name our champions? Like actually give them unique names each?
Yeah, so not initially, but that is something that obviously would be really cool to have. So team's aware of that. Maybe in a future update, if there's enough people asking for that, they will implement that. That's obviously not something that's like super, super difficult in the grand scheme of things. But it's really a choice of, do we spend time here or do we spend time there, right?
Yep, that's cool. Hey, everybody, let's ask for this. Cheers, Matt.
There you go. Well, rally the troops, and the team is listening. So if that's something everyone really wants, I'm sure we can find a way to make that happen. Cool. Well, I believe that's all the questions we have, unless I have anyone else that wants to step on up. Any more questions from any of you that are listening to this at the moment? Hello, hello, hello. Okay, well, I guess that's the end of our AMA. This is our last AMA before early access. Make sure to go to the Epic Games Store. Make sure to save this on your wish list. Make sure that you don't miss the release of early access on the 28th. This is really cool, and kind of the culmination of everything else that the team and the community has been doing over the past 18 months. And it is finally here, right? Finally here. We're going to be able to see 71 champions. We're going to be able to see a bunch of areas, 4 different areas right now. We're going to be able to see land. We're going to be able to see boxes opening up. It's a lot of cool things happening, and it starts in 4 days. So lots of excitement, lots of hype, and let's go, everyone. I'll see you all in the Telegram. If you're not in the Telegram, come say hi. Hey, Business, what's up?
The last questions. Can you say what these 4 areas are? Because like there was a little bit confusion in the chats. So just to be clear, what these 4 areas are in the early access. Thanks.
Yeah, so let me pull up the exact names so I don't forget them. Give me 1 second on that, and I'll come back to you. I just want to make sure I'm not misnaming them. Jenny, you're up.
Oh, hi. I'm just wanting to know with the land, can we like do anything with the land? Can it be named? Can it be personalized, built on?
At the moment, there's no information about that. There's been a lot of questions. There's been a lot of speculation that it's possible. There's been some communication about that in the past, but there's been no official communication since that about being able to do that. So not initially, but down the road, possibly.
No worries. Thank you.
Yeah, of course. So I'm trying to find the exact names of these. I know we have Biako City. I know we have the Lava Dungeon. Are we? Does anyone else remember what the other 2 are? Because I'm definitely forgetting the other 2 areas. We definitely have names for those.
I think this was part of the confusion.
Yeah, fair enough. We did other region areas. We did announce these. They are in my notes somewhere. Johnny, do you remember this? Is this in our chat at some point?
I can't say I remember. What was it again? Sorry.
What are the 4 different areas that are being released? I think it might have been our very first AMA that we did once I came onto the team.
Let me pull that up.
Yeah, I'm trying to pull it up myself. A lot of fun. Okay, so AMA number 2, AMA number 1. Just trying to find all these, digging through all this text real quick.
Hey Matt, I've got the
if we
other
have any
2 regions. It's the snow region and the cave system.
That's right. Yeah, snow region,
Yeah.
the cave system. That's correct. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. No. So we have
Woodlands,
yeah, cool.
Biako City. Yeah.
Yeah, Woodlands, Biako City, snow region, cave system. So that's kind of what we're looking at right now. Very excited about all those, and sorry I didn't have that pulled up. Didn't want to say something wrong there, but
Actually,
thanks for stepping in, Bones.
The end of that that response was, we have other areas in the works which will be revealed on Twitter soon. Did we ever reveal those?
Yeah, so that's going to be coming post EA.
Awesome.
So as EA moves on, as we move towards full release, other areas are going to open up, which is really cool. So there'll be more content coming through. It's going to be a way to keep people engaged in the game, that sort of thing.
Do we happen to know for like monthly updates how vast that would be? Would it be just more kind of like adding some kind of a raid boss in, or would they actually how about like a region? Would a region ever be added in a monthly update, or would that only be like a seasonal update?
So, well, development updates don't necessarily mean I change the game. I mean, the development team is going to be pushing updates as they're needed, right? Obviously, there's going to be bigger updates. There are updates to the game. There's going to be bug fixes pushed. There's going to be, things that need to be changed pushed. But it doesn't mean there's going to be a regular, hey, we're pushing a new version of the game every single month. It could be faster than that. It could be slower than that. It just depends on the needs of the development. When we were talking about development updates, we were talking about, hey, how are things going, right? Hey, what are we working on? Hey, what's coming next? That's what we mean by development updates.
Have we seen anything with Dark Elbion yet? Or I wonder, because I remember him being our first raid boss. That'd be kind of cool to see him in the EA.
I would love to see the first person, that gets to him. And see what we can find on Twitter and see who ends up posting first about that. Okay, I believe we have one more question. No, we have Hollywood and Voidstar. Okay, Hollywood, you're up. Hollywood, hello, hello, hello. I believe you are muted.
Okay, I think I'm good now.
Yes,
okay.
sir.
Thanks for having me on again. I was just wondering when EA launches. This will be a kind of a couple questions, but do you have any information on how soon they'll be holding like a PvP tournament for everybody that's going to be playing the game? I know a lot of people will be really excited about that. So I was just curious, like, how soon might that happen? Is that going to be, something that they're going to utilize to, get people excited to start playing? And then if they do a PvP tournament, are they going to open up the arena to do that, or is that going to be held, so in one of the open areas in the game?
Yes, there will be a PvP at some point, but we're not going to announce that until after EA. So I can't give you any information about that until we're ready to announce that.
Okay, no worries. Thanks.
Yeah, absolutely. So up next, Voidstar.
Hello. I had exactly the same question as Hollywood, but I do have another question about the land. Each land has 3 champions. I take it there's going to be more champions on the land apart from those 3 champions that are in the metadata that we're seeing just now in Opensea.
So like I said earlier, the information that's being given right now is that we have those 3 champions for sure on the land. There might be the option to kind of move those champions around as we move further into EA, depending on balance. But each island only comes with that 3 species of champion that players can obtain eggs from. Right, and those champions continuously respawn. So you don't necessarily have additional champions beyond those champions on the land that you have, if that makes sense. Is that clear?
Yeah. That's cool. Just wondered.
Yeah, it also allows people to move to different lands and utilize lands across the spectrum rather than just, kind of camping on one piece of land, right? So it kind of pushes people to a bunch of different places.
Awesome, thanks. Looking forward to playing on Sunday.
Yeah, me too. I'm looking forward to kicking everyone's butt when we have the PvP stuff.
Yeah, man.
Cheers. Any other questions here? Last call for questions. Okay, cool. Well, if that's that, thank you so much. Really excited to play this on Sunday. Excited to chat to you all in our Telegram group about everything that comes and all the cool new things that we see when we're able to download this and actually get into the game. So cool, everyone. Thank you so much for showing up. And as always, I am Matt. I am the Twitter guy over here at NFT Champions and Celestia Ultimate. And I am very excited to continue this journey with you all. See you all on Sunday. Bye-bye.